Yeah, it's fun though. It's a great group of kids, and like I said, it's a group that understands the opportunity in front of them, right? I think we've worked hard to kind of find a way to get this group to where everyone's really excited about having a chance to be a Chicago Blackhawk and what that means for the future of this franchise. And so it's a fun group to come to work with every day.
And especially tonight would be really special for those kids to celebrate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you talk about another storied franchise coming in here with Montreal and having us kick off our Centennial with that at home. It's going to be an electrifying night for a lot of these kids and something they'll never forget, myself included. I mean, I've been in this game a long time, and I'm going to enjoy every minute of this as well.
Last year when we came here, there was a lot of, pressure on the shoulder of Connor. What do you think? Do you think he will be, stronger to handle it this year?
I think as you grow up, you just understand yourself better. And so I see a more confident and understanding man now, not a kid anymore. It's pretty cool. He seems more comfortable in his skin of who he is and what he wants to try and accomplish in this league. And I think he's done putting expectations or worrying about expectations. I'd say he has his own internal drive, and that's all he's focused on. So I'm really proud of him. His mindset as he's come in here this year is a lot different, and rightfully so. How do you know, right? As a young kid, you don't know, and we've tried to help him along, but I think he's just matured and he's he's really in a good spot, and I'm really proud of him. And he's going to be a big part of this team and why we're going to be successful for years to come.
Centennial home opener to a Centennial season you're talking about. I mean, you've played in this league for a long time. What's it mean to you to be part of like the history of this franchise at this point?
Yeah, well, guys said this is my 100th year too, so it's kind of nice that we're celebrating both. But it means a lot. Honestly, I don't think we talk about it enough as players. I think sometimes you're so in the moment. But we're all, fans of this game and what's come before us. And I think for us to be able to celebrate a 100th year and really see the history of this franchise, it's humbling in a lot of ways of the men that have come before, the great teams, the great players, and what it means to this fan base, right, the city. And I think we're really excited about being a part of this and celebrating that with the fans and making sure we put a great product on the ice.
What do you think Frank Nazar can be for this team this year? I mean, I know he has a lot of potential, but this year, what do you think he can be?
Yeah, I don't think anyone knows, honestly. I think that's the beauty of Frank is that we've had such a small sample size, and I think he's excited about what he can become in this league and not putting a limit on it. I think a lot of times that's what, you get caught up in, I'd like this many goals or this. I think Frank's just playing. That if you get to know him, he plays off a swagger and a vibe, and that's what makes it so unknown with him, right? Like he can be something real special. We already know that, and I think the sky's the limit for him. It's just making sure he stays in the moment, understands what it is that makes him successful, and like any young kid, right? You just try not to get too far ahead of yourself, and but we're thrilled. I mean, he's really helped solidify this group as a 1-2 punch, so to speak, with him and Connor, and it's going to be fun to watch for years to come.
Do you feel this 1-2 punch puts a little less spotlight on Connor as well, and which
also pushes him too, right? Like it's fun to have that internal competition. They're great friends off the ice, and I think they push each other to become better. But I think it does. It makes other teams have to be aware of the next line coming up after Connor, and it's something we haven't really had. And so I think it's going to help Connor tremendously. But I think it's also fun for them to have that camaraderie where they're pushing each other, but they're great friends, and they can kind of grow together as a group here.
With the team getting as much younger as it has, how different did the start of this season feel on the ice versus where you guys started last year?
Yeah, I think last year there was just an understanding of the players that we had, right, and then what they bring, and so there's a little bit of a cohesiveness early on, and maybe this year you can tell we're still trying to figure out some guys, or they're trying to figure out their place in the lineup and how that's going to work, and I just think that's the reality. But I think what stands out to me is the hunger and the drive that all these guys have, though, right? They even though there's their youth, their energy is infectious in the room, and it's made it a lot of fun to come to the rink and try to get better. And they're just trying to absorb as much as possible. So for me, I have a lot of time for that and enjoy it, and it feels different in a good way right now. And we got to get on the win column here to feel that, and hopefully we can tonight.
Morning.
Only one in this little magic thing, eh?
Any update on Jason Dickinson?
He's not available right now, but I would say probably the best would be probably week. Day-to-day, week-to-week, like a week, that's probably my guess, somewhere in there.
Lower body, upper body?
Upper body.
Your morning skates they're like practices really. Is that just it's early in the season, you got young guys, new systems, or is that kind of your, are you in teaching mode all the time here?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you can, I don't want the morning skate to be a, lack of a better word, a waste of time. Like I think if you can get one thing done in a morning skate, maybe two things. You got to be careful of doing too much, but if you can get one or two things done, we try to do that. Especially coming off a day off yesterday. The one thing in the NHL. Probably one of the biggest adjustments when you first start coaching in the NHL is the lack of practice time and trying to balance practice and rest. And so at some point you do have to utilize and make morning skates effective, especially when you're going to have some certain days off of practice.
So you're talking to Donato before you got going. What's been your message to him?
I just think making sure he's going to have an opportunity tonight to play on a line that'll probably see some matchups, some hard matchups, and making sure that his mindset's that. I think when you're, he's a veteran player. I think he understands that you got to win, you got to check for offense, and so I just wanted to make sure he knew kind of what the role was going to be tonight, and so he was good with that. Yeah.
What does it mean to you to be the head coach of an Original Six franchise as they celebrate their centennial tonight?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I'm super fortunate in my career to have a chance now to coach 2 Original Six franchises, and so it's a pretty special thing. And to take part in a Centennial season like this is makes it extra special. And then when you get the chance to be around so many of the great players that have played here and come before, like I did last night, it just puts in perspective how actually special it is. And it's just a lot of guys with a lot of pride in our organization and our uniform. And I think if it does one thing, I think having even a night like last night where we were able to hang out and with a number of the alums, it's a great reminder that every single second in this league is special and to cherish every second.
What do you think Frank Nazar can bring to this team this year? Like we all know his long-term potential looks pretty good, but how about just this year?
Well, where we're at as a hockey team, he has a huge role even as a young player, and so he's a guy that's out there on the first power play unit. He's out there on the penalty kill. He's one of our top 2-line centers. So that's a huge role and a huge responsibility. He's a very, very talented young guy. Obviously his speed is excellent, but he can make plays at high speed. He can score at high speed. Those are special gifts. And so like every one of our players, and not just our young players, we're learning how to kind of play that winning hockey where you score while checking and while doing a good job defensively, and that's a learned process for our whole team, and he's certainly included in that. But I think he's going to have a huge impact on our year. He's going to, because of the fact of the roles he's in.
What was the thinking in giving him some the PK? Because it's not the type of profile of player that gets PK, especially this young.
He got it at the end of last year, and I thought he did a good job. So, when I watched him, he did a good job with it. He's got a lot of speed. So, that is a threat offensively, too. And I think, one of the things on a PK, if you can be a threat to score shorthanded goals, that puts the power play on their heels. And so I always think that threat is huge. And so the more, we want to score shorties when we can. But he's quick. I think he's smart. He's a right shot face-off guy that if he can get real good in the circle, can become a good killer.
What's the message to Levshunov after a lot of ups and a lot of downs in those first 2 games?
Well, it's a learning process, and that's just the reality of it. I thought there was some good moments, and there were some moments that he has to learn from. Certainly, the penalty late in the game is a big moment. Where you guys are going to make mistakes, and we've talked about that as a staff and with our group. Like, this isn't about making mistakes. This is about certain choices, and what are those certain choices? Those any kind of winning hockey moments, and that's one of them. You can't take penalties late in a game like that.
Jeff, Montreal took that next step last year. What kind of challenges do they pose to the team?
Well, I watched a decent amount of their game against Detroit. They obviously had an unbelievable, I would say, second half or last quarter maybe, or whatever that run was great. And I had a chance to see it firsthand, and they were playing great hockey. And, they've got a number of good young players mixed in with some really good vets. They are a team that just looking at them, they pose some different threats offensively. Certainly have a great first line. That's kind of been Suzuki's a really, really, really good two-way player that with two really good wingers, and it's a line that for a lot of last year was a plus machine. You know, they would win their shifts on a regular basis, and you know, kind of reminded me of the Bergeron line back in Boston when they were playing together. So that's a really good line, but they also have other really good young players. So they're a talented group that I know is trying to continue to make strides upwards as we are. And you know, we you know, for the most part, we're going to focus on ourselves and making sure that we continue to take strides in the right direction here.
It's only been 2 games, but have you seen trends in how Montreal generates offense, like the different ways they?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, I can't say. I mean, 2 games going back to last year. I know, you know, decent feel how they want to play offensively, and certainly, you know, they're super dangerous on the rush. You can't give the rush opportunities that they got the last game. You know, that's a recipe for disaster for any team, really. You know, so but they're super dangerous that way.